Hey y'all, Corey here from Ensemble Texas, and in this Texas Nature Journal entry, I want to introduce you to a fun one I got going on in my landscape right now here as we're in late summer, the buttonbush. So common buttonbush, also known as honey bells or honey balls, is a distinctive perennial native Texas shrub that thrives in wetlands across the United States. Its unique globe-like creamy white flowers bloom from June through September and attract many pollinators. It's known for its adaptability, and so buttonbush can flourish in diverse wet environments, from riverbanks to pond edges, which makes it a real versatile addition to water-centric sites in your landscape. So I've planted our buttonbush here off our AC condensation drip. I'm sure you can hear it. My babies are sleeping, so I want to make sure that they're kept cool and comfortable. But off this drip, the buttonbush has proved to be quite successful this year, especially. Its versatility and visual appeal, I think, make it a compelling addition to any Texas native landscape looking to attract wildlife, birds, bees, and butterflies. So the buttonbush grows typically 6 to 12 feet tall. It's a bit hard to measure that, as you can see from its many branching, reaching growth patterns. But I've heard that it can grow much taller, up to 18 feet. I've heard other reports of it growing up to 40 feet. I've never seen that, but I don't know. So it blooms throughout June through September. As for its light requirements, it can handle full sun to partial shade, even full shade. It really kind of depends on the spectrum of moisture that it's given. The soil types it prefers: moist, sandy loams, and can even tolerate up to 12 inches of standing water. As for its water needs, it's pretty high, so it's ideal for aquatic environments or those adjacent to them. As for the distribution, where is the buttonbush native? It's native to a broad range of the United States. Buttonbush thrives from the humid marshes of East Texas to the swampy regions of Florida and even the waterways of California. But it prospers naturally along rivers and wetlands and besides ponds. Although it has a preference for moist environments with sufficient watering, buttonbush is remarkably adaptable and can flourish in diverse landscape settings beyond its typical aquatic habitats. In Texas, of course, while the buttonbush is rather common, it's most common in the state of central Texas eastwards, given the greater quantity of precipitation and moisture that the plant prefers. As for the benefits of having buttonbush, first, for your landscape, it's a versatile plant, has a lot of different planting options. The buttonbush excels in various light conditions, although that might change how it blooms. It can handle full sun to partial shade, which makes it really quite flexible choice for different spots in your garden. But its preference for aquatic environments allows it to thrive in areas that are perpetually wet or moist, where other plants might not prefer it. It's also got a lot of visual interest. I really love these blooms, the flowers on the buttonbush, the unique aromatic spherical flowers and real lush foliage of the buttonbush add, I think, a distinctive aesthetic to any Texas native landscape, provided its water needs are met. Along those lines, it can tolerate being flooded, right? So it's well suited for flood-prone areas. The buttonbush can stabilize soils and provides still beauty in that and benefit even in challenging conditions, which makes it ideal for waterside placements of any kind or rain gardens. For wildlife, the buttonbush is an absolute pollinator hub. The nectar-rich flowers of the buttonbush draw butterflies like skippers, swallowtails, and hairstreaks, as well as bees and hummingbirds, contributing significantly to your landscape's biodiversity. Further on that, it's a bird refuge. So its nutlets, which can linger into winter, provide crucial sustenance for over 25 species of birds, including waterfowl like ducks and shorebirds. The dense branches of buttonbush offer cozy nesting sites and shelter, and the fruits are especially popular among cardinals, finches, and sparrows, which make the buttonbush a favorite stop for many birds. It's as well, mentioned already in significant pieces, it's an aquatic and wetland enhancer. So the buttonbush is a staple in wetland management, commonly planted in bioswales and rain gardens to purify water and stabilize banks. So this not only supports the surrounding flora and fauna, but also ensures a thriving habitat for various aquatic life. And finally, it's mostly deer resistant. So deer might nibble on buttonbush if they're really pushed for food, but generally they leave it alone if there are tastier options around and the deer are quite well fed. So, this makes it a decent pick if you're trying to keep your garden more deer resistant, at least where better loved deer snacks are abound. As for the planting and care, starting first of talking location, where's the best place to plant a common buttonbush? Well, it's adaptable, but the key here is that you can ensure it flourishes, right? And your maintenance, mostly supplemental watering, is kept to a minimum. So thinking about that, where is the best balance of this? This is about where it can passively receive consistent water and moisture. So my specific recommendations for planting buttonbush in your landscape, based on my experience and research, is near water features, right? If you have this type of landscape, a lot of space, existing water features, natural or built or otherwise, planting buttonbush around the edges of ponds, wildlife ponds, natural ponds, lakes, or alongside streams maximizes its natural preference for those wet environments. The proximity to water ensures the roots remain moist, which will really promote lush growth, and if exposed to significant sun, abundant flowering. So for me, this is a more shaded spot on our landscape than others, but I did really enjoy the opportunity that there was of having this AC condensation drip line, because other than that, we don't really have the water features available on our property until we establish and build a pond. We have mini ponds, but this is a much bigger plant for that. So it stays very moist here, obviously, for a large part of the year. AC season in Texas is quite long, and so I found that this spot was really great for the buttonbush, and as you can tell, it's very healthy. This plant is thriving. Blooms have been, maybe not as much as you would see on a plant that gets much greater sun, but I think nonetheless, we still have had a healthy amount of them that we've been able to enjoy. But, rain gardens are a good choice, right? You can utilize buttonbush in rain gardens too, which can help manage runoff, while still beautifying the area. And its tolerance for standing water and flood conditions really make it perfect for that kind of setting. But low-lying areas, lower areas of a property that tend to collect and retain water, remain damp for a significant amount of time, are really ideal for buttonbush. These spots can offer challenge for other plants, but are really perfect for this moisture-loving shrub. Bioswales and wetlands, incorporate the buttonbush into bioswales and wetland areas where its root systems can contribute to, stabilizing the soil and water purification. It can play some really crucial roles of support in those vital ecological areas. And, as I mentioned, AC condensation runoff. I think that's maybe an underestimated or a spot that we don't think of too often as to where we can strategically place certain plants in our landscape that might not be best suited to our landscape otherwise, and so that was the opportunity that I saw with buttonbush. I originally planted it off of a gutter downspout. Pretty immediately hit by the gutter downspout's water path. However, in year one, the plant really struggled, and so this may have been my lack of patience, seeing the plant really have a difficult time and really having to water it quite a few times throughout the week during our peak summer months, and honestly in the entirety of summer. And so it might have done better if I stuck it out and waited for year two, but I was impatient to see that I could maybe move the plant and put a lot less work on myself on a day-to-day basis for its care. And so, it is year 2, and so maybe the plant's just more established, even though I did transplant it, or maybe it's just in a happier location with moister soils, and that's made the supplemental watering down to 0 here in year 2. Granted, we've had some decent rains as well here in San Antonio this year, but it's on water essentially all the time here throughout this serious heat, and so I gotta imagine that doesn't hurt with what type of plant the buttonbush is. As for the care and maintenance, buttonbush really requires minimal care once established in a location with suitable moisture. As for pruning, you can prune in late winter or early spring. You can remove dead or damaged branches to keep the buttonbush healthy and most vibrant. But given its size and rapid pace of growth, you can shape the plant and bring it down in size to encourage bushier growth and more blooms. So be careful not to prune after any new growth periods, as that might hinder the current year's blooming. So late winter, very early spring, before the first flush of new growth comes. But as well, if buttonbush is overgrown, as this one has gotten quite large here, you can undertake a more dramatic renewal pruning by removing up to 1/3 of the oldest stems on the plant, rejuvenating the buttonbush the following growing season. From my experience, after substantial pruning, as I had in that first challenging year, the buttonbush rebounded really quite well. As you can see here, it's a very healthy, vibrant plant. As for watering, while naturally water loving, additional watering may be necessary during extremely dry periods, especially if your buttonbush is placed somewhere it's not receiving water consistently otherwise. But depending on where it's planted, before it's established, you might need to water it occasionally regardless. As for some companion plantings for the buttonbush, it pairs well with other moisture-loving Texas native plants, dwarf palmetto, huisache, inland sea oats, a lot of other things that you might see in naturally aquatic environments. As for the seasons, what to expect with the buttonbush season to season. In spring, the new growth begins as buttonbush really starts to leaf out, and then in summer, the buttonbush enters its peak blooming phase from June to September, which will attract an abundance of pollinators with its abundant spherical globe-like blooms. This is when the shrub truly shines, displaying its peak ornamental value, I think. And then in fall, as the season transitions, the flowers give way to nutlets, which will continue throughout the winter, providing a valuable food source for birds. The foliage may begin to diminish at that point, but the plant maintains a significant presence in the landscape. As winter comes, as a deciduous plant, the buttonbush loses its leaves, leaving behind a stark yet, depending on the structure of the plant and its growth pattern, interesting structure of its branches. But late winter is the perfect time for pruning to shape the plant and prepare it for the next growing season. As for any medicinal or edible uses, it's very worth noting, there's not any known edible or medical value for humans to the best of my current knowledge or research. If you find anything, please let me know. However, it's worth noting that the leaves of buttonbush are poisonous and don't usually tempt livestock, making it a safe ornamental choice around farms without worrying about curious nibblers, but something to be considerate of for your home landscapes. As for propagation, common buttonbush can be propagated through a few ways, each with specific considerations. For me, I prefer propagation through cuttings. You can collect seeds in late summer, early fall, and potentially sow those directly in areas of your garden that retain moisture. But from cuttings, softwood cuttings in late spring and semi-hardwood cuttings in late summer can be rooted with the aid of rooting hormone, and if they're kept under moist of a mist or, in my experience, natural rainfall. My personal attempt with semi-hardwood cuttings, largely left to nature's care, resulted in 3 thriving 1-gallon plants within the same calendar year. And so it's a very resilient plant, I'd say. Maybe with better care, I could have gotten a much greater percentage of success, but for little to no work besides an existing pruning that was taking place anyways, I call it a win. As for transplanting, small buttonbush plants can be moved in spring, and larger clumps from mature plants can potentially be divided. In my experience, transplanting is most successful when carried out early in the growing season, especially before the heat, giving the plant ample time to establish before that peak summer heat hits. But make sure the soil is consistently moist, especially if the new location isn't naturally wet. But I'd imagine you'd want to move it towards a location that's more moist, more wet. Based on my trials, the initial year might require more attentive watering to help the plant settle and establish. But with proper care, the buttonbush plants, I think, quickly adapt and become rather self-sustaining. It's about the right plant in the right context and planting position. All right, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this Texas Nature Journal entry of the buttonbush. There are many resources that I consult in the production of a video like this, along with my own experiences of working with the buttonbush in my own landscape. And so to check out those various additional resources, books and websites and things like that, you can check the description below or visit the complimentary page at ensembletexas.com. And lastly, if you want to get started with Texas native plant landscaping but aren't exactly sure how, get my free cheat sheet, Getting Started with Texas Native Plant Landscaping at ensembletexas.com. That likewise will be linked down in the description below. All right, y'all, until next time.